Florida, Billy, and DJ were able to land Jermiah Smith. I don't know how Gator Twitter would be able to contain themselves. It would be an absolute mayhem. But I think it would be a great time to be a part. Trust me. I've humped a spaceship when DJ got recruited us. I don't know what would be left to hump if we got Jermiah Smith on top of that. But my point of that is, if we're to land Jermiah Smith, where does that set up this class? I mean, I think it's going to set a staple. And look, how much time does Jermiah Smith want? How long does he want to wait? I think if he wants to build an important class, kind of like DJ did went early, I think Jeremiah's like, hey, he's already committed to Ohio State. Obviously, he committed to Ohio when Dylan was still there. Dylan is no longer on the table for Ohio State. Does that mean Ohio State's going to slouch by any stretch? No. Ohio State's a phenomenal wide receiver school. So to be able to pull him one from Ohio State and to be a catalyst of this class, the class could be huge. Allie?
All right, so Ohio State has Brian Hartline, right? He's probably regarded as the best wide receivers coach in the country. So I think that it's going to be difficult to pull Smith from there. I talked to Corey Bender about it a little bit this week, and he was saying that he really thinks this is more about Smith taking his time, taking his visits, doing his due diligence, potentially in case something doesn't work out once he gets up there. But I was really impressed that DJ Lagway got on a plane, flew out, and had a conversation with Smith, spent the days with him. You've got to think there's at least some interest there, because I think that that's a pretty big trip, a pretty big move. It's not like he's driving from Jacksonville to go hang out with a couple recruits there. Like, that was, he got on a plane, came to Gainesville to make this pitch. So he's got to think that the door is at least open a little bit. But I mean, Lagway said he wanted to sign the number one class in the country in 2024. And obviously we're all like, that would be amazing. We'll see, like, get us in the top 5. We'll take top 10 at this point, whatever. But I mean, he's a hustler, right? He's working. Florida's in it. I think it'll take a lot to steal them from him from Ohio State, but I do think it's a possibility.
Dave? Yeah, I agree. Brian Hartline, his resume speaks for himself. Any wide receiver, especially a top wide receiver that goes to Ohio State under Brian Hartline, is going to be a problem for any school to acquire. But I mean, we've seen some crazy things. I mean, the whole Evan Stewart thing. We remember that it didn't work out for us. Obviously, he went to A&M. But we've seen these crazy battles that you think you're not in it, or maybe the quarterback starts getting into the wide receiver's ear or one of the players' ears, and then something happens last minute on signing day, or something happens last minute, or as we alluded to earlier, like if you got hats on the table and maybe you're the second hat and it doesn't work out, maybe he does come back to you through the portal. I mean, it doesn't. But as far as I'm concerned, I mean, Billy G, he's got a good track record as well. I mean, his resume speaks for himself. Brian Hartline, same thing. I guess I could say it's going to be a battle right now. I would still choose him to stay at Ohio State, but I mean, you know how recruiting goes. It's only March. But that's just me not trying to get my hopes up. I hope I'm wrong, and then everybody can laugh at me later. So
I'm hoping so too on this one.
That one's probably going to come down to it's going to come down to the very wire, I think. But I would still choose Ohio State now, but I hope it's Florida.